Is it really worth it to stage my home before I sell it? We'll talk about that on today's episode. Good morning, everybody. Wanted to take a few minutes today. Well, I guess I don't know if it's morning or not when you're watching this video. It's morning when I'm recording the video, so I guess that counts, right? But I want to talk to you about staging today. Should you stage your home? Should you not stage your home? Does it really make a big difference? So first of all, let's talk about what staging is. Staging is basically, it's a form of merchandising, if you think of it that way. So it's like interior design, but think about when you go to a store. Now, if you had something sitting on the back shelf in the corner where you'd never find it without any signage or any of that kind of thing, you probably never buy it, right? Same thing with a home. If you spruce it up with a little bit of pop, a little bit of things that might draw attention, show how a room can be used, things like that, it could benefit you in the long run. There was a study in 2019 from the National Association of Realtors that said that both sellers and buyers agents were surveyed and said that staging can increase the value of your home anywhere from 1% to 5%. So in today's market, that could be a pretty good chunk. So what I want to give you today is 12 tips for staging your home that shouldn't break your bank. So let's go. Number one, you want it to be clean. So that's the first thing a homeowner is looking for. They want to know that you've taken good care of the property. If the home is dirty on appearance, they're going to wonder what's happening behind the walls, in the air conditioning system, all that fun stuff. So they want to know that you're maintaining your home. So please make sure it's cleaned. Consider hiring a professional cleaner, but if not, at least super detailed cleaned by you, and getting it ready is very important. Number two, declutter. So this is something I always preach when I'm taking a listing and I walk through a home with a potential client. We look at the walls and we look at how much furniture they have, especially people, it seems, that have been there a long time. So if you've lived in a home for 20 years, you've accumulated 20 years of stuff. You want to make sure people want to see themselves in your home. They don't necessarily want to see you and how you've lived in your home. That being said, the other issue is to look at pictures on your walls. I know you have a beautiful family. I know you're proud of the grandson that just graduated, for instance, or the kid who just got a black belt in karate. But unfortunately, we want to take those types of things off the wall and get them packed away first and foremost. Again, we're trying to create an environment where a buyer sees themselves in the home rather than seeing you. Number three, kind of goes the same way. It's depersonalize. So in addition to any photos, any specific things that you know are just your taste that may not be mainstream taste. I know some people have affinities for different types of art, different types of decor. Consider that when you're selling your home. Just because you think it's gorgeous, and it might be, not everybody will. So we want to create the most even keel, open type environment that we can for buyers to come through. Number four, focus on fresh. So these are some things that you may not think of. Potted plants, a bowl of oranges or lemons on the counter that creates some color. Anything that creates that fresh environment in the home is really important. Again, it's also a good idea to wipe down the kitchen sink, grind a lemon in the garbage disposal, bake cookies or put something out. Please don't just put an air freshener in the wall that says baked cookie. That is not good, and it does not smell the same. So if you have a chance to bake something, if you have a chance to, like I said, grind half a lemon into a garbage disposal, not a whole lemon. Please don't kill your garbage disposals on my advice, but just maybe chop up a lemon and throw it in the garbage disposal to get rid of that sink odor. If you've smoked or have any other thing that you might have used inside, please ahead of time start limiting your smoking to maybe outside the home, and also take more steps to deodorize the indoors. You might want to look at even ozone or something like that helps to rid the home of any smells over long term. This also applies to certain types of cuisine. So if you cook certain types of food that have a very distinct smell and it lingers in the home, please try your best to deodorize that and try and limit those sorts of dishes if you can in the midst of trying to sell your home. And lastly, please take out your garbage. People don't want to walk in and see an overflowing garbage can. Number five, define the rooms. So you don't want to have random rooms that just don't have a specific purpose. This will help buyers maximize the home square footage. If you have a finished basement, for instance, which isn't very common here in Arizona, you can make it into an entertainment room relatively easily just by putting a TV and some couches or something like that look like it goes there. A junk room, you don't want to have a junk room. Let's transform that into a guest bedroom pretty easily. You can put a twin bed in or a full bed in with a little nightstand that may be a dresser. Now you have a guest room and you've decluttered as well. So again, we're looking for the buyers to be able to understand that each room has its own defined purpose. Number 6, you want to make sure paint is fresh and clean. If you have wallpaper, it's unlikely, unfortunately, in today's market that the buyers are going to like your wallpaper choices. Wallpaper in and of itself is not that common, although there are some people that still love it, which is great. But at a minimum, they're going to want to choose their own patterns to do that. Please don't paint over your wallpaper either. That looks like it was a quick shortcut. So if you're going to paint, take the wallpaper off, patch it properly, texture it, whatever you need to do, and then paint it. The same goes for custom paint colors. I know I've been in properties that have an orange bedroom because the kid loved an orange room, or we actually, when my kids were younger, we had a Mickey Mouse room, so it was red on top, black on the bottom with a Mickey Mouse border in the middle. Super cute for when our kids were younger, not so much when you're trying to sell the home. So again, neutral colors, create a blank slate. That's kind of the overarching message that we're getting at here. Number 7, flooring. Flooring is key. Nobody wants to live in a home that has nasty carpet, right? So, especially when somebody else has made it dirty and you don't know what's in there. So some basic things that you can do, if you can get your carpet swapped out, that would be a fantastic option. Hard surface floorings tend to be very popular, but even that, if you look back and you don't necessarily want to add hardwood floors because not everybody likes hardwood floors. So again, we're trying to create that basic look, and you should be able to do things like freshen up your carpet for very little. And if you can clean it up and it looks like new, then great, just go for a good cleaning. Actually, look at my earlier video on clearly clean carpets if you want to get somebody out there that can really freshen up the carpets if they can be freshened. So otherwise, just make sure your flooring is clean and or new. Another big one, lighting. When it comes to staging, nobody wants to look at a dark house as they're walking through, right? So open up all your blinds or shutters, turn on every light in the home before showings or open houses. And a real estate agent will know that when they're going to show it to a prospective buyer on your behalf. Your real estate agent should know it when they're doing an open house. However, other realtors coming in may not operate the same way, and you want to make sure you control everything you can control. So brighten up the house. Take down any dark curtains that darken up a room. You want to really just create that big light environment. And it also helps people so they don't have to hunt for light switches, which can create other issues as well if they start to get frustrated. We're already 8 through. We only got a few more left, guys. Number 9, furniture. This is the big one. Should I rent furniture? Should I hire a staging company to come in and furnish my home if I've already moved out? What should I do? So the answer is maybe. And I know that's not a great answer. But it's going to add anywhere from 1 to 5% to your home's value. So it just depends on investment versus return, right? I'm not the kind of person that tells everybody they should just spend money to spend money. I want to make sure you're going to get your value back for it. But some things to keep in mind, especially when using your own furniture. Furniture that's too big makes a room look small. Whereas if you have too little furniture, it makes the space not feel very warm and inviting. Please also don't use cheap furniture. You don't have to pay out a lot of money to swap out existing furniture. You might actually even, you could even rent it potentially, but you want to make sure the furniture is nice, tidy, warm, just inviting for people to come in, and then maybe even add some pops of color if you can. One thing that doesn't ever make sense to me, and I know that I've heard other agents say the same thing, is when we walk into a home, it's a vacant home, but they've put a little end table with a pot of flowers in the middle of the room, and that's it. Again, that's not furnishing your home for the purposes of making it look warm and inviting. That's just random staging that I don't necessarily think does a lot. But everybody has their own opinion, so make your decision as far as that goes. Number 10, walls and ceilings. So these are things that you don't want to, especially, let me back up, especially in Arizona. Every home settles in Arizona. Some areas of town worse than others. If it was farmland or other things that may have happened before it, you might get some additional settling. Some of the new construction that uses post-tension slabs helps with some of that, but even that, you're going to have little settling. And what you get in the ceilings, you might get a little crack coming across. Drywall might get a little bit of a crack on it. That doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with your home. However, when you're selling your home, a buyer is going to see those and go, oh man, I wonder what's going on there. Is that normal? Is there something more to worry about? So you want to make sure that you've patched and painted any visible cracks, any holes in the wall, any of that kind of thing. Again, you want to make sure that your walls and ceilings are as clean as possible so as not to indicate any potential issues that might exist. And again, if there are issues, let me just put a big asterisk on this. If there are issues that you know of with your foundation, or anything like that, you must disclose those in your seller disclosure statements. So Jason is not telling you not to tell people. I'm merely telling you that if it's just a simple cosmetic issue and you don't have any other known issues, let's get rid of those cracks and prevent buyers from being concerned in that regard. Number 11, exterior. So the exterior, people call it curb appeal, right? You want to make sure your lawn is trimmed, your bushes and hedges are trimmed, trees are trimmed and pruned. Consider getting your windows washed. You can get your screens cleaned, especially if you have sunscreens. You'd be surprised how fresh and new a home can look just by cleaning the windows and the screens. You can even pressure wash your home's exterior. I'd recommend getting someone that knows what they're doing so that you don't start blasting stucco off or losing the paint or any of that kind of thing. And then the same thing with sidewalks, driveways. If there's any staining in the driveways from oil or any of that, you can remove that relatively easily in a lot of cases. Sometimes if the oil's been there a long time, it is settled and you're not going to fully get rid of it. But just consider having that all pressure washed and cleaned up because, again, first impressions, right, are huge. So you don't want somebody walking into your home and already having a list of 5 things that weren't done right that they have to fix before they even see the inside of the home. And last but not least, just any finishing touches. So especially if you're living in the home, right? Before any known showings, before any open houses, go through, again, give another wipe down, make sure your garbages are removed, put fresh flowers out or a bowl of fruit like I was talking about. You can light a couple of candles if you want to beforehand, but again, make sure that the scents aren't too manufactured. You want to create, again, a homey sense for people walking in and not you don't want it to smell necessarily like Michael's or like, or At Home or places like that, which, by the way, can smell great, but not necessarily when you're trying to show your home. So again, bottom line here, if you don't have a lot of cash, you don't have to put a lot of money into staging your home. A lot of it is just depersonalization, rearranging furniture, opening up your lighting, things like that. But make sure that you understand that a buyer's impression when they walk in is going to be the key as to whether, first of all, they make you an offer, and second, how that offer is going to look. So I hope that this content was helpful, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about staging. We actually have another staff member here that has a really keen eye on the staging side, and I'd be happy to hook you up with her, and she can help you with that too. But if you like content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel and share this video with your friends, especially if they're thinking about selling their home, so that they have some tips and tricks to get that home ready and to get the highest amount possible. So I'm really thankful that you guys are here today, and we will see you next time on the next episode.